Welcome back to Dubsy Bricks and another episode of building the Batcave in Lego, or in this case building the Batmobile and Batwing in Lego. So for the past few days we've been trying to make a Batmobile from scratch. We sourced a load of pieces, chucked them on the desk and then started a build. And I haven't been basing this on any specific Batmobile. Like the Batcave, I want it to be my own creation. And on the first day, the entire morning was spent just trying to work out what sort of chassis to have. There were numerous attempts, and every time we ended up just destroying it and starting again. I was concerned that the ride height of the vehicle wasn't right, and as I want to be able to move this vehicle in the cinematic finale without it grounding out, as you can see from these pictures, there's very little clearance on the bottom of the car, and I was worried that we were going to have that problem. First afternoon progress was made, and the vehicle started to come together, and by the end of the day we had something that resembled a car. However, it was nothing like what I was after, and I think half of the problem was not having something to base it off of. So the car, as you can see in these pictures, is just looking too bulky, and it didn't look nimble enough. It's not the sort of thing I can imagine just whizzing around the streets of Gotham City. It just didn't look right. So started off day two, and I thought we need some inspiration from somewhere. So I've got a book on the Batmobile, and I picked that out and just started browsing through it, looking for all the pages, looking at all the different images and trying to just get that spark of inspiration from somewhere. And after looking at the book, I thought, right, let's try and go for an open wheel concept. So there's no wheel arches above the front wheels and see what we can come up with. I started playing with all these different techniques, including using Technic beams to attach the wheels to, and also having the cockpit so it was at a slight angle. However, again, nothing was working. I just couldn't get that chassis, the width that I wanted it to be at the place where I wanted it to be to enable to have the side pods that curved in and out. So again, it was back to the drawing board. So I started off with the most basic of chassis designs, as you can see here. And I popped some curved slopes onto the snot brackets. And then all of a sudden, it just started to come together. And I managed to get the sideboards to come in and out exactly as I wanted it. And I was finally happy with the look that we were creating. Managed to put some hinges on there with some little wing bits popping out of it. And all of a sudden, the details were there. Behind where you would have the axle of the car, I decided to leave a gap. So when you look through, you can actually see daylight. And again, it was just these little details I thought that I could imagine being on a Batmobile there. So the progress really started coming along, and I was looking at the angles and they were looking sleek, and I was really happy with that. And I started to work on the bonnet area, and again I wanted to get as much detail on here as possible. I didn't want just a smooth finish. I wanted little details of wings popping in and out, things like that. I added a batarang just below where like the bumper would be, and again it just made it look a little bit more Batmobile-ish, if that's such a thing. So that was all good, and I was happy with the direction that this Batmobile was going. So when we got to the cockpit area and the rear of the car, again, I needed to know what direction to head in. I had the front of the car that I was really pleased with. I had no idea, again, what I wanted to do on the back. And I have very limited windscreen elements. I don't own that many vehicles, and the few that I had, the majority of the windscreens were for the 8 stud wide vehicles, which on this car, being that the cockpit was only 4 studs wide, did really limit things down. But luckily I did own the McLaren Senna set, and that's got a really nice windscreen on it. So I popped that on there, and then I thought, right, okay, we now need to concentrate on the body around the rear of the car. So I added a couple of sort of like Batwing fins over the rear wheel arches to give it the Batmobile look. So it was then a case of working on the engine side of things, and I wanted an exposed engine. And I started off by taking the engine block out of the Batmobile set, which was from the latest Batman film, and sticking that in the car. And it did look good. However, to me, it felt like I was cheating. It wasn't my own creation. And like with the Batcave, I want this entire MOC to be my creation. So I thought, no, not doing that. So we ripped it out and then started making our own things. So I thought, let's go for a big thruster engine. Like, let's make it look over the top with power and things like that. So I got one of the 8-sided, like modified plates, I suppose you'd call them, which you can clip brackets onto. And then I got some of the black like robot arms or droid arms or whatever they're called, and got some modified plates and some curved 1x2 slopes. Popped it all together, moved the arms in, and it gave me the look I was after. It's over the top for power. It's just what I would expect to see on a Batmobile, basically. So all it was left to do then was put some guns on the side of the Batmobile, arm it up, and then we would have our finished Batmobile. And there it is, our first ever Lego vehicle MOC. And man, it was a tough one. I'm looking forward to making some more vehicles in the future, but hopefully they'll actually be based off of something where I have that all-important source material. I think it'll be a lot easier when you're basing it off of a picture, because you know exactly where you're going, and it helps you to implement the different techniques into your build. The final decision I had to make was the Batman wheel covers. I've gone for just plain black. However, I was considering putting the ones which I've got the bat symbol on. However, due to it not being the same bat symbol as in the bat pad, I'm not sure if it will look right. So I've kept it black at the moment. However, it is something I can easily change before the finale. Anyway, that's the Batmobile done. Next up, let's get on to the Batwing. We've made a start on this, and I'm just trying to get the wings worked out how I want it to look, sort of like when it's in flight mode. So hopefully we've got like a bat silhouette on there. And once I've worked that out, I'll then integrate a cockpit to it. I've already checked, and this size does look perfect from what I can tell on the landing pad. Also need to make sure that it will fit out of the hole in the Batcave as well, so that's another important thing. And here we have one Batwing complete shape-wise. This one we just need to find the wedge plate to go on the end. And what I've decided to do is use a car chassis to attach the two, and then we can put the minifigure in the bottom there. The closest figure I had to hand was Tony Stark, so he would sit in there, and then I'm going to build it around the minifigure, so I know there's plenty of room in there. So yeah, let's just quickly attach those together, show what he looks like. And there it is, the Batwing at the moment. So I'm going to put some more bits in the centre just to curve it up a little bit, give it like the wing look. But pretty pleased with the first attempt at it. It fits in just about. I think it's probably about half a stud clear on each side of the wings when going through the tunnel part. And obviously it fits nicely on top of the bat pad. And we're just sorting out the front bits just here on the cockpit. And what we've done is we've got one of these inverted slopes, like so. And I've then got one of these ones here, which is a roof piece from a Ninjago set. And then I'm putting a grille on the front of that, on just there. And then I've got one of the snot bricks, which has got the studs on opposite sides. So then that's clipping to there. And then what I'm also doing is I've got another snot brick, which is just the studs on the one side. And we're putting that to the plate there. And then we've got the two. So that's going to be the side of the cockpit. And then I'm going to put some cheese wedges along this bit. Now there is a hole in the brick there, but I don't think that matters too much. And then, excuse the noise of the bricks moving. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to attach that onto the cockpit, like so. And there we have it. And then I've got this piece here, don't know what this is from. And get a bit better light on that. Getting that there, and then that is going over the top to give it a more finished look. And here we have the chassis again for the Batwing, and I've decided to put these Technic pins in the back here, and it's going to enable me to have the wings at an angle, and these brackets at the front here are just so it keeps it stiff, so these don't really move, whereas these flop around. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put the wings on there, and then I'll show you how it's going to look and what shape it's going to give us. And there it is, all clipped on, and as you can see it can give us a nice bit of angle to there, and it is really stiff, so it's not going to move around at all. And I've put this single brick in on the back there, the Technic brick, where that blue pin's sticking out, and then that will enable me to continue to build out the back of the Batwing with the body side of it. And the two Technic holes there to either side of that blue pin, what I'm thinking about doing is putting the thrusters out of that. Just thought I'd show you the connections that I've gone for in the end here, and I've decided to use these Technic bricks here, well not Technic bricks, sorry, so Technic clips on both the front and back of here. I've taken away the car chassis part that I was originally using this, and I put in a 1x4 Technic brick just there, and another one at the back there, and then we've just got a plate in the middle holding the two together, and then I'm putting these wedge plates on the bottom, and then the same at the back. So once it's all together, then it's going to be nice and sturdy. So this one, for example, will be going on here, and then we'll be putting the other wedge plate on there just to keep it all in place, so it's nice and sturdy. Then on the back here, we've got a jumper plate, and this, at the moment, the wings are very sort of like they flap around a lot, so there's a lot of movement on there. So this plate here is, or this bracket is just a hinge piece. It's just there purely to keep it in place. So we've got a nice angle on the wings there, and again the same will go on this wing here. So all I need to do now is put another jumper plate under there, and then that will keep that wing in place and it won't be flapping around like it is at the moment. So yeah, it's some interesting techniques I'm using here. It's given me part of it sort of like it feels a little bit like a snow speeder in some ways, but yeah, it's once I've got these wings in place, I'm going to start doing the finer details on the wings, and then we can start working on the back in the cockpit. But I've changed the mounting of the wings just purely so it's nice and strong and sturdy, because the previous attempt was a little bit flimsy. So yeah, let's get back to building. Been struggling to get the wings to stay at a tilted angle. I've been trying all sorts of different techniques using brackets, hinges and whatever else, and I finally come up with a way of keeping the wings so they're in the fixed position I want them, so they're just at that angle like so. And what I've had to do is the fuselage is 4 studs in width, and then the wings are by the side. As you can see, I put this this modified plate on this part here, and it's sat on top of a jumper plate like that one there, and it's actually just wedging between 2 plates. There's a plate gap between 2 plates within the wing, and it's just slotting nicely in there, so it's actually stopping the wing from actually moving. And here we have Batman in his Batwing, and I think we are pretty getting close to having this all finished. Need to put some weaponry on the wings, and I've also got attached the cockpit glass, and we'll be going for a bubble cockpit on here. I thought it would be a little bit different. Not a billion% happy with it, and again it's strange because it looks different on the camera than what it does in real life. But yeah, that's the look that it's potentially going to look like. I might try and build something up here to hide a little bit of it. And just checking one final time, and as you can see, there are a few changes. I've added 2 fins on the side there, and I think it looks really good in the way that, because the wings are tilted, obviously they tilt out as well, so it's giving it a nice look. And also I've put some tiles either side of the wings towards the cockpit, and that's filling the gap that was just below the cockpit glass. Added a gun on each wing, and I've changed the front section there, so I did away with the snot bricks with the inverted curved slopes down the cockpit, and just went purely for that one piece there. So it did come out really well, pleased with that. But yeah, that is the Batwing all complete. And there we have it, the Batwing and the Batmobile. So the Batmobile was by far the hardest of the 2 to build, and this one took the best part of 2 days. The first day was a complete waste of time. The amount of trial and error was ridiculous, and it was a case of, as soon as I got this part here done, which looks so simple, as soon as I got that bit done, everything flowed up thereafter. So yeah, that was quite good. Pleased how it looks. The Batwing, this one I've been concentrating on all day today, has been really good fun, and I'm really pleased with the way it looks when it's upright. Again, it's got like the bat symbol that you would expect if it was flying in front of the moon, so the silhouette's there, and it just about fits through the cave. I thought I was going to have to trim a little bit off of the wing bits here, as it was just skimming it, but yeah, it does fit through, so that's all good. And obviously I've put Batman inside the cockpit. It's not the easiest to get in and out, and as you can see inside, he's got his 2 controllers there for steering the vehicle. A couple of guns on either side, and on the back we just got simple little thrusters down the back there. But yeah, really pleased with how that's turned out. And I've got managed to get a little bit of an angle on the wings there. Again, that took a while to work out how to get the wings to stay on the vehicle at that angle, because originally when I made it, it was dead flat and it just didn't quite look right. So I was pleased to implement that into the build. But yeah, there they are, the Batmobile and the Batwing. All we've got left to do is make the Batboat to go in there, and also a jet ski, just so you can have that scene from the Batman Lego movie in there as well. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, a little bit of a different one. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. Give it a big thumbs up if you've enjoyed what you've seen, and please share the video with as many people as possible. The more subscribers, the better. Anyway, thanks for walking on by. See you next time. Bye for now.